do I understand from the manifestation of the good sponsor that we will table the deliberation insofar as Lanao del Norte Provincial Hospital and Benguet General Hospital?
Yes, yes, Mr. President.
Yes.
Just to hoping that the three remaining bills, 13 remaining bills could pass swiftly.
Ano
Okay,
yung
thank you.
Lanao del Norte and Benguet? Number 10 and 11. All right.
Yes. Now, Mr. President, my question before the break was, can we amend the Mandanas ruling and just limit the ERA to internal revenue taxes collected by the BIR?
No, Mr. President.
Why not, Mr. President? Can we spread into the record why not? Why we cannot?
The Mandanas ruling only clarified from what sources the ERA of LGUs can be taken. These sources are all the national internal revenue taxes, including the tariff and customs duties. Yeah.
I'll be more specific, Mr. President. Can Congress enact a law saying that customs duties are excluded from the computation of the ERA?
No, Mr. President.
And may we know why we cannot do that, sir?
Under the Constitution, Mr. President, it says all taxes, Mr. President, which was clarified by the Mandanas ruling, Mr. President.
May I ask a question?
With the permission of the Senator Go and Senator Drilon, Senator Villar, you're recognized.
I just want to ask the question, Mr. Senate President, that if we include the tariff, for example, the rice tariffication law comes from the tariff from rice. So if you include that in the Mandanas ruling, where will the rice tariffication law come from? Where will they, we passed the rice tariffication law because we decided that whatever tariff we can collect from rice import, we give to the rice farmer in terms of the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. Now, if the Mandanas ruling will get the tariff from rice, where will they get the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund? That would be very difficult.
Very good question, Mr. President. I have been a lawyer for 50 years. I haven't thought of this question being raised by Senator Cynthia, that indeed the Supreme Court decision says, in effect, customs duties, which is a tariff, is included in the computation. Now, we passed the Rice Tariffication Act in order that we just impose a higher tariff on rice importation instead of a quantitative restriction. Question, are the collections arising from the rice tariffication part of the computation of the ERA? My answer could be yes, because that is a tariff. And maybe Senator Cayetano and Senator Angara can come in, because this is a question which is obviously something that we must confront, because this will increase the ERA correspondingly, and correspondingly reduce the benefit to the farmers.
The ASEP also. Another one, Mr. President, is the ASEP. It's the Agriculture Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. It comes from the tariff of all agricultural products except rice. Patay na tayo. Wala na yun. Those are laws that we passed here for the benefit of agriculture. They're a conflict. Mr. President, that's all. Thank you very much.
Just for clarification, if you don't mind, then this is a question to either the Senator Drilon or the others who are familiar with the scenario. The Mandanas ruling came about because of a petition filed by Governor Mandanas. And what stemmed Governor Mandanas to file for a Supreme Court ruling?
Yes, Governor Mandanas filed this case, and Senator Coco can help me here. Governor Mandanas to file this case against Secretary Ochoa as the nominal party because the computation of the ERA is based on the taxes collected by the BIR. And according to Governor Mandanas, that is not allowed because the computation should be based on the monies collected by the customs, by the Bureau of Customs. So that is why the point raised by Senator Villar and the point you are now raising is very valid concerns. In fact, at this point, Mr. President,
Bakit na?
I do not know whether the 234 billion mentioned by the good sponsor as what is due,
Bakit niya nasabi yun?
what is due for the ERA in 2020 next year already takes into account the the rice tariffication and the ASEF. But for the rice tariffication, baka hindi pa because that was passed just last year. Because the basis of the ERA is the income tax collection 3 years ago. 3 years ago, we did not yet have the rice tariffication fund. But certainly, the agricultural enhancement fund was already there. So question, is that's earmarked for farmers. Now, does that mean that the government can now reduce?
Farmers na tayo.
So it's really a very difficult issue. I hope that Senator Coco, Senator Cayetano, Senator Sani can put their views because on record because this is a very difficult issue.
Well,
This
if
could be several billions more.
you're right. If I recall it right, the Governor Mandanas was banking on Section 6 of Article 10 of the Constitution,
Yes.
which reads, local government units shall have a just share as determined by law in the national taxes which shall be automatically
May
released
katapat na
to
provision
them.
ng LGC which only said internal revenue taxes. And he's
Teka muna.
sorry.
All right. All right. With that, having said that, banking on this, they asked for a ruling from the Supreme Court saying that the interpretation must be that when we say national taxes, all taxes.
Including
Tama,
customs. Including particularly customs collections.
All right. And customs collection. All right. At ang effect ngayon, yung tinatanong nga ni Senator Villar and the rest is baka pati ibang national taxes madamay. All right. But looking back, kaya ako tinatanong I thought it was originally in the local government code, kaya pwede natin galawin Pero it looks like really it's up to the executive to interpret because ang sinasabi ng konstitusyon, local government unit shall have a just share. How do you define just share?
Now,
Kung sabihin ngayon ng presidente ng Pilipinas, ang just share nyo, 20% lang.
no, sir, yes.
Hindi ba?
Mr. President,
Or as they determined by law. And therefore, tama yung tanong ni Senator Drilon, we may, by law, change it. Hindi ba? That's the reason I asked where yeah, all right. Senator Tolentino is recognized.
The permission of the minority leader and the sponsor, Senator Go, if I may be allowed to interject and perhaps simplify the procedure right now, Mr. President. The impression that I got from Senator Go is that he is willing to let go of two bills that would require national government capital infusion. Am I correct in that aspect, sir?
Correct, Mr. President.
And the remaining 13 measures would not require budgetary infusions coming from the national government. Is that a correct?
Correct, but some are DOH hospitals, Mr. President, increasing the bed
Yes.
capacity.
Yes.
Mr. President, it does because because the increase in the bed capacity and the capital outlay must come from the national government, not from the ERA.
That's why I'm asking, with respect, minority leader.
That's the
why
answer, sir. Your
asking
answer to
the-
your question. That's what the bills say. Capital outlay shall be for the account of the national government.
The impression I got, Mr. President, is the bills of Senator Go are meant to address the shortfalls in funding in anticipation, likewise, of the windfall that would be coming from the Mandanas ruling in the years ahead. Although he mentioned a while ago that the executive department has yet to lay the basis, although there are ongoing studies and discussions on how the pie would be redistributed amongst all the LGUs. So his bills would now be laying the groundwork, Mr. President, in anticipation of the Mandanas ruling, and among others, Mr. President. So the shortfalls are the shortfalls in funding as gleaned from the bills filed by Senator Go are very apparent among 5th and 6th class LGUs. So there is now a need to maintain a high standard, health standards for this poorer municipality. So he is pushing for the 13 bills. If am I correct in that?
Correct, Mr. President.
So, Mr. President, I think it can be reconciled. It can be reconciled. The issues raised by the minority leader, as well as the intention of the author, can be reconciled in a manner that would provide a higher standard for locally funded LGU hospitals wanting more facilities and personnel, additional hires, so to speak, because as his honor would say, and I quote, there is a health services devolution burnout. So I think if both gentlemen would agree, the measures being proposed by Senator Go would not be contrary to the, I hope I am correct in my interpretation, would not be contrary to the questioning, the line of questioning propounded by the good minority leader, Mr. President.
Please do not interfere with my line of questioning. You should give some respect.
I'm not, with all due respect. That's why I asked the permission of His Honor if I would be allowed to interject.
No, when you question my line of questioning, that is out of line. You should accord me the appropriate respect na naiintindihan ko yung tanong ko.
I mentioned my impression, with all due respect. So,
Yes.
that's all, Mr. President. That's why I just want to clarify.
That is why I am correcting your wrong impression.
I admit if I was wrong in my impression, but